Oh, yeah. Let me just get everything set up over here. Okay. Let's see here. June 23rd is the date. And maybe today I'll pay attention to YouTube. We'll see. All right. Can everyone hear me out there? I can hear myself, so that's good. Yeah, what's going on? All right, so funny story. Wearing my headphones this morning because, oh, okay, well, let me back up a little bit. I have the next 2 weeks off, which is great. That's pretty rare. That doesn't happen. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to do a whole bunch of work. I'm going to get a ton of stuff done. It's going to be awesome. Walk into my studio this morning, and my right studio monitor does not work anymore. So, really good timing on that one. Super stoked about it. So now I have to send them in to get fixed, because apparently it's a known issue with these things, which is great. Oh, what's going on, man? How you doing? I saw you post a track in here, Mr. Kamel Hotlin. Well, we're going to start with a couple from last week here. So I got basically the next hour and 15 minutes. Then I got to hop off, and then I have to teach a lesson. So I want to try and, use my time well. And yeah, let's do it. So this is Just Zale, or Zale. I meant to get to theirs last week, but we're going to do it this week. So let's check it out. Can you all hear this?
Look, gang, a door. I wonder.
Is that coming through? All right, sick. I love to hear it. All right, let's do this.
Look, gang,
Oh,
a
what's going
door.
on, man? How you doing?
I wonder where it leads.
Wait a minute. Hold up. I got a question. Are these your samples? Northeast Heights? They're seriously some of the best. Like, I forgot that I had them. You must have given them to me at some point. But they're, dude, I use them. I mean, look at the rank on all of them. I use them so much, like, all the time. I rediscovered these. I didn't know that I had them. But they're just like amazing. So anyway, Northeast Heights sample pack. I don't know. I mean, you can drop a link to it in the chat. But I'm telling you, for like 140 stuff, they're so sick. All right, so you should drop a link to them in the chat if you're selling them somewhere, and people should buy them, because I've been using them religiously for like weeks now. Anyway, let's do it. Oh, what's going on, Ramitry?
Look, gang, a door. I wonder where it leads. We'll never know.
Stuck in orbit, mayday. Miss my home, my baby. I can't survive without you. Caught up in rotation, lost current location. I'll just float here, missing
Yeah, that was pretty sick. That was very, very cool. I don't know if Zale's here right now. I did throw their SoundCloud link in there. Yeah, that was a super sick outro. I agree. Yo, and by the way, anyone that's popping in here right now, if you want to throw a track in for feedback, go ahead and join the Discord. There's a channel right here where you can post your whip, and I will try and get to it today. And if I can't get to it this week, I'll bump it to next week. All right. So we're gonna make it happen. But yeah, this was Zale, and super cool track. All of these are recorded, by the way. So if you want to review them later, you can do that. I think the intro could probably be louder. I mean, like, it's just, well, what else is going on here, right? Like, you don't want to have someone turn the speaker up and then all of a sudden they have to turn it back down again, right? So I just feel like,
Look, gang, a door.
if there was something else going on, the vocals could be kind of quiet, but there's really nothing else here. So I feel like this could just be louder at the beginning. That's a pretty simple fix. In general, the sub needs more upper harmonic. It's a very, very fundamental heavy sub. And it just feels gutted in these lower mids. I feel like when a lot of my students at Icon come in, you know, I feel like all of us have been told at some point, like, oh, hey, cut the lower mids, you know, so it doesn't get muddy. Well, it's like if you cut too many of the lower mids, it starts to get really hollow sounding. So there's a balance there for sure. And this one can use more upper harmonics on the sub. That way you can hear the track on small systems because, you know, a lot of systems, they'll cut off at like 800 hertz. And you can't really hear above, or sorry, 80 hertz, not 800, 80 hertz. And you can't really hear anything above that. So it gets really tinny and kind of thin sounding, but if you have some upper harmonics on your sub, that's going to fill that range in there. And there is a pop on this sample that was driving me crazy, and I think it's right on each of the snares. Yeah, totally. It's a pop that's like probably this little thing right here I'm hearing. I don't know, but it's right on the snares. And it's pretty, it was just killing me. So just kind of fade that in. Yeah, let's hear that outro again. It was really cool. That was sick. Definitely gotta have a little like boop. Bah! I agree with Camel Hotline. The outro could be the intro. I feel like that would be a great thing to do. And then you can put the vocals on top of that too. Actually, it would sound like this. Actually, it would sound like this. Roughly, you know what I mean? Gotta turn those vocals up still, but yeah. Your pads are really wide, so I'm looking at Voxengo Span here, and for those of you who don't know, Span is a free meter, by the way, so you can pay for it if you want, but you don't have to. And I've got mine set up so that the green is showing the mono channel with like the center image, and the red is showing all the stereo information. And if you see the red hanging out over top of the green for longer periods of time, that's usually an area where there's some phasing issues. So you might want to check that out and see if you need to like grab an EQ8 and cut some of the sides. So all those pads are really, really wide. I think they can just be tucked in a little bit. This is something that I would do exactly on that. Like I would do this on that pad channel rather than doing it, you know, like on the entire master or something like that. So definitely check that out. Yeah, I think the vocals are processed really well. I think there's a lot of really good things going on in here. I do think the clap sometimes gets a little buried in these bigger sections. I mean, really, it's when the vocals are happening. There's like really behind the vocals, but you don't really want to like, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. You don't want the clap to be in front of the vocals. It just feels like it ducks a little too far behind in general. Maybe you need a little more body to the clap because it is kind of a high frequency thing. Like we're kind of focused up here in like the 800 to 6K, 8K range on the clap. So what if you add a little bit of lows to it that might allow it to pop down beneath those high vocals and still have a little bit of like, you know, weight to the clap as well. But yeah, that's all I got. And I don't think you're in the chat right now, so I can't ask if you have any questions. But if you do, just hit me up in Discord, and we can definitely go over that. All right, sick. Who's next? Who's next is Mixria. Here we go. Looks like maybe Maria, but I don't know if Maria's here or not. SoundCloud link in there. And let me get this downloaded. Check it out. Am I following Zale? I am following Zale. All right, good. Mastered. All right, we got a mastered track. Let's check it out.
Exist again. Time has its limits. I'm just here for a visit. There's something pleasant in this impermanence. In the end, everyone dies, but you never learn to live. You touch my body, but you never got me. I just lay there wondering when you'd get off me. And you keep on talking about my body. Change the subject and get off me. I never was a nobody, and now I found somebody who loves me, and every time he touches me, I feel embodied in my body. Never was a nobody, and now I found somebody who loves me, and every time he touches me, I wanna be here in my body, in my body.
Yo, super incredible. This is nice. I really like these vibes. The vocals on this are great. All right. I'm gonna say Maria, and if that's not how you pronounce it, I'm sorry. I just need a way to say it. So Maria. The vocals on this are fantastic. Really, really love them. I do think that the backing track is really unclear though. In a lot of situations, there's just too much going on. It's fine when there's not so much going on. Like here, I feel like it's almost the opposite. It's like there's not enough, or there's like, you know, all the sounds are too far in the back, and then all of a sudden when it all comes in at the chorus or the drop or whatever you want to call it, it kind of all jumps on top of the vocals a little bit, and then also just gets really muddy. I feel like you could take away half of what's there and still have a really effective track, you know? Or at least do some EQing on a lot of it and get them all kind of staying in their lane, because I feel like there's a lot of overlap. But yeah, I agree with what Rhymetry says here. Really, really dope vocals. They're extremely good sounding. They're processed well. Definitely like the star of the show in this track. So let me just go through a few things here. Overall, this is pretty quiet. I mean, for a mastered track, you know, like, let me go ahead. By the way, here's a little tip for y'all. If you want to find how loud a track can be made without clipping, you can consolidate it by pressing Command J. And then if you look down here, the gain will now tell you the difference between where it's at and how loud you can make it without clipping the track. So I can turn this thing up 3 more decibels, and yeah, I just don't, you know, I don't know if that was just the way it was rendered or something, but it's kind of quiet for a mastered track in general. I'm not saying you got to push it to like -4 lufs. You definitely don't have to do that, especially you couldn't on this one, but it would be helpful for it to be a little louder. Yeah, dude, the screaming is really cool too. I think that's dope. Honestly, I think all the vocals in this are great. But yeah, so check it out. The back end, like the drums in particular, are really buried in the beginning. Especially that kick. I feel like you need a kick that bangs a little bit, you know? Even in the beginning, it's just kind of really like boom, boom, boom. Which it could be fine for an intro, but it still feels quiet. I said some conflict in the vocals with the panning synth.
From the same side, you touch my body, but you never got me.
And you know what? I realize what that is now. I think it's actually distorted vocals in the background that are lowered and panning and really wide. Got to be super careful with that kind of a thing. Having doubled up vocals, especially so there's a few things that can distract from vocals. Other vocals and panning. And these are other vocals that are panning. So be very careful with that kind of thing, because that can just detract from the attention of what's happening with the main vocals as well. I'm not saying you can't make it work, you totally can, but in this situation, from a mix perspective, I do think they're jumping on top of each other a little bit, so you might want to watch out for that. Maybe like just kind of maybe not have them pan as hard, because that's going to detract the attention, or maybe just cut them out a little bit more in the range where the main vocals are happening.
Change the subject and get off me. I never was nobody, and now I found somebody who loves me, and every time you touch it.
All right, so this section here, it feels like you have like a lot of Reese basses and things like that going on, and it's got like kind of a blurry vibe to it in the background. I really can't tell what's happening. I can hear a bunch of things are happening, but they're all stepping over each other's toes. To try and give everything its own lane, right? Try and give the bass and the sub, the sub and the kick down there below 100 hertz. Above that, you want to go for your lower mid sounds, right? And try and keep nice clear harmonics on those, because right now I see a big blur of harmonics. But if I want really nice clear lower mids, I like to see the individual peaks of my harmonics down here, all the way up to 400 or 500 hertz even. So try and clean that up if you can. You can maybe remove some of the chorusing or the stereo spread or the width or something like that. So definitely look into that and see what you can do to clean those up. But the vocals are sitting on top of the mix, so good job there. Cool snare. I like weird snares. I like this little clunk thing you got in here. That's sick. Yeah, busy. I just said busy. It's just too busy. You can back it off. And it might not even be that so much is going on a second listen. It just feels like whatever sounds you're using are so thick that they just need to be a little more definition, Because really, I'm just hearing a couple basses, like some Reese basses, but yeah. So, all right. And the last thing I have to say is your tops are pretty wide here. All right, so check this out. All that red, or I guess it's kind of orangish, whatever underlay. It's popping up. It's really, really building up right here. So you might want to grab an EQ8 on a few channels. Set it to mid-side mode, set it to side, right down here, MS, edit side. And here you can just pull the sides down, give it a nice broad cue. And like that right there is going to help clean things up already.
Every time he touches me, I feel embodied in my body. Never was nobody, and now I found somebody who loves me. And every time he touches me, I wanna be here in my body, in my body. Every time he touches me, I feel embodied in my body. Never was nobody.
Yeah, it really focuses to do it this way. Now, I don't really like it on the master. I feel like because it takes the vocals in too much, but the other sounds could be brought back a little on the sides too. So definitely something a little more along the lines of this. This is just really rough, so I don't know if I would copy it exactly. But all right, so I don't believe Maria's in here, so I don't believe Maria can ask questions at the moment. But Maria, if you watch this video later and you have them, Discord, you got it. You know the drill. All right. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? If anyone else has questions about things I say, by the way, you can also, ask, even if it's not your track, of course. All right. Northeast Heights is up next. Hey, by the way, if these tracks aren't downloadable, can you make them downloadable, please? This track was not found. Maybe it has been removed. You got another one for me? All right, word. Y'all should follow Northeast Heights. Also, download that sample pack that he threw up here. It's like amazing. He must have given it to me a long time ago, and I completely forgot about it. A petit link. Yes, might be, perhaps. Might be. I'm going to double check everyone else's too while we're sitting here. All right, so this is a Dropbox. We know we're good there. That's dope. Okay. Download. All right, cool. Got it. Seems that adding a lot of saturation could introduce all the clutter. Is that just a trade-off you need to consider when putting that much distortion on Maria's track? Yeah, a lot of saturation could do that. I would say that the right amount of saturation done in the right way would not do that, right? Like, it depends on what you're starting with. It sounds like they were starting with a bunch of like big, thick, wide respaces, which in and of itself is a pretty muddy and like, easy to get out of control type of sound. So I usually am very careful about when I use those things. Thick, wide, low saw wave basses. But I would say that if you want to do a lot of saturation, then you need to probably do it in parallel processing, right? So keep your subs clean, add the distortion on the mids and highs in the amounts that you want. And then oftentimes after that, I'll do OTTs as well to bring up the high end and clean up and like tighten up the mids as well. But I don't do like a lot of OTT. I'll do a little bit of it, Just kind of keep everything in check. Really, it's just compression, right? Just add more compression afterwards to keep it all in line and check. It's a lot of processing to get around to that. So, yeah. Does that answer your question? Hopefully. It's very specific to situations, so. All right, let's check this out. Need Me by Northeast Heights. Yo, very sick. Very, very sick. Oh, Head Under Heels. I know exactly what it is. I agree with you. The lead does feel a tad out of place. I know exactly what it is. I'll tell you in a second here. I just want to say, first of all, Lil X the God. Cool. All right. Pop that in there. If I'm going to do my best to get to it today. I got about 45 minutes left here, and I probably will be able to. But if I can't, then I will next week. All right? I do this every single week. So... but I'll do my best to try it. So thanks for sending your track. Yeah, okay. The lead feels a tad out of place. Now, what that is what I wrote here. It's kind of dry. It feels like it happens, and there's like, it just feels like it's just sitting there outside the mix. Everything else is very lush, you know? It's a really good track, and the mix is overall super good. Like that, your subs are hitting right where they need to. Everything is tight. I like it. But these synths just feel like they don't fit in the mix. They need some ambiance. They need some background. They need some framing, right? They need something to make them not feel dry dry and upfront when everything else is all situated in a nice stereo image and depth image to the listener. So yeah, just you don't drown them in reverb. That's not what I'm talking about. But I am talking about giving them some kind of little ambiance to put them in a room or an environment, right? Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, okay, cool. I feel like I tell everyone this. This can be louder. Intros can be louder. I want to say this for everyone here right now. Ask yourself, what's the main point of what's happening right now? Like, what is going on? What's happening here? That's it. The orchestral stuff. That's the main thing, right? It's gonna seem quiet no matter what. I mean, if I come over here, I turn this thing up. I took it up by like 7 decibels and it still seems quiet to me. And I don't mean too quiet, just quiet, probably the way you intended it, right? So, turnarounds, like little vocals that happen before the drop. So many times I'll hear like boom, boom, and it just goes, right? No. Make it loud. If it's one thing happening, make it the thing that's happening, right? Same with intros, same with outros. Don't be afraid of giving a little gas. Because, like I said, for the first track I was looking at here, you don't want someone to turn up the volume to hear the beginning of your track and then have to turn it back down again. I mean, I noticed that if I send a track that has like this off to a mastering engineer, oftentimes when I get it back, it's going to be like, anyway, you know? So you might as well just make it loud up front and avoid any weird artifacting as it gets brought up higher. This snare feels a little bit in front of the mix, I think. And it might just be the top end on it. I see it's really, really bright. The visual I'm all about that visual demonstration. All right. Yeah, take a little off the top there, you know, kind of soften it, push it backwards in the mix. You can probably add a little reverb to it. Maybe take a little of the transient off as well. Doesn't need to be quite as intense right here. I don't think, anyway. Talked about those synths. Vocals can come up. I like the vocal sample. I think someone else said they like the vocal sample. Yeah, Head Under Heels said that. Yeah, I do too. Yeah, vocal sample can come up. And you know what? I feel like you can get a bit of a snazzier little top loop on it. It's a little bit like... It's kind of boring. You can get... There's a lot of room for like some little weird fills and things with the hats that would just make this so tasty in the top end, you know? Just an idea. You could also maybe try introducing just the hats before this. Yeah, that's true. Could do just the hats. That'll be a gentler introduction to some rhythm. That's usually my preference, is to go hats first, then bring in snares or kicks. But it really depends on the track, of course. Or swap the intro snares for snap. Hey, yeah, pretty much. That's another thing too, right? Different type of thing. I find that this 808 kind of snare is a little aggressive for intro type stuff. The Vox feel a little underprocessed as well, I think. I don't know. That's a take it or leave it comment, if I'm being honest. I think that you can probably get away with how they are now. But yeah, maybe try and play on some other processing and effects on them, because it feels almost like you could have an effect on these vocals, like a quasi very gentle phone filter or something, and that would be a really cool, interesting aspect to it. But that's more of a creative decision, which I would entirely leave up to you. So splice vocal, yeah, it sounds like a splice vocal. I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way. You know, me and Adam Meow are releasing a track soon with a splice vocal on it, which I've never done before, but it worked for the tunes, so, you know. All right, this transition needs some work. It just happens. You know, it just happens. The drums just stop. There's no fill. There's no turnaround. Dun, 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 dun. Done. Find some way to smooth this out. I sometimes will just take a snare and put a delay on it and have my delay go for a very long time if I'm feeling lazy. And I don't mean lazy in a negative way either, because it works almost every time. Or take the vocals. Right? Like that would smooth it out. Delays are your friends when trying to get from drops into bridges or drops into outros. Delays are your friend. Big time. This sub is cool, but it's such a chill part. You can actually make this sub a little wider, I think. Oh, come on. Every freaking time. Why does it do that every time? Splice, you're a monster. Alright, well, fine. I don't even know where splice is. That's fine. I won't do it. Doesn't matter. But point is, what you could do is you could, you know, get an imager. Maybe I can use the Ozone 9 imager. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. It's the same freaking thing. The Ozone 10 imager is always doing that to me. I'm just going to use 9 from now on. So yeah, just go ahead in here and add a little bit of width to your sub. Here's how I like to do that, all right? So I don't mind adding width to my subs. I do it almost all the time, even in drops and stuff. But here's how I do it. I get the lows. I turn on stereo eyes. Make sure it's on 2 mode, which is like the more gentle one, I guess. I think it's not actually just insane or gentle, but that's kind of how I view it. I turn the stereo width all the way up. So now we've got this like really, really wide sub, but you see how it's kind of skewed off to the left here? What I want to do is adjust the timing offset, which is this now. So I get a nice heart shape. Somewhere around there. I find that usually intervals of 12 to 16 milliseconds do the trick. And yeah, 12 is going to be the move here. There we go. So we have a nice, like, you know, centered stereo image on the sub, and then you just bring it down a little bit. Just you want a little bit. Like, usually that's how much I add in. Just a touch. And then you get a nice little bit of sub in the low end there. And if I go to my main and I check the, I turn on Avicet Sideband Solo, which is my little device that allows me to view sideband content. There it is. There it is right there. And what I'm looking for down here is a generally even line. That apple bottom stereo. Yeah. So, you know, maybe this is a little too wide. If it was me, I mean, and if it was a drop section, I'd be more concerned. But if it was me, I'd probably lower the width on this too. I don't really have time to go into this whole Avicet Sideband Solo, but I definitely have videos about it on my Patreon. And I definitely have videos about it on my YouTube, but you got to go searching a little more. And I definitely have videos about it, I think, on my Instagram or TikTok. So you can find more information about it on those platforms. But yeah, I like a little bit of stereo width in my subs. Make it kind of fat. Keep going. What else we got? Oh, that's it. That's all I had. Honestly, man, this track is really close to being done. Mono Your Sub is yeah, I don't know about overrated. It's not bad advice. It's just, I feel like Mono Your Sub is the thing you say to people when they either don't know enough, like they're early producers, right? Oh yeah, okay, cool. We talked about it last stream. That's great. Thank you. I feel like telling people to mono your sub is like great if you're like, okay, you don't have enough experience in producing to actually understand phase and how this all works together, or I don't have the time to actually explain to you why it's okay to have slightly wide subs. If you analyze a bunch of songs and look at the sideband content, you will see that a large number of them, at least in bass music, have width to them. Like, I have a bass producer. I do left field stuff. But like, you know, techno is going to be more mono in the low end. House is going to be more mono in the low end, especially things like tech house. Those kind of genres, you need a much more mono general vibe. But for width, lots of width. But yeah, for sure. Dude, your samples are fantastic. I've been wondering for a while if those were yours, and I assumed they were. And I will continue using them because I think they're sick. But yeah. Anyway, you should sell them. You should sell those samples. They're great. All right, cool. Good track. Love it. Very close to being done for sure. All right, who's next? Who we got? We got Attree, Attree. Is it Attree or Attree? I always wonder. Attree, like atrium, or Attree, like, look at that, look, it's Attree. Attree. All right, sick. Look at the tree. Hello there, worms. If you got a track for feedback, there's a link to the Discord just a little bit earlier in the chat, if you can see it. And you can go ahead and drop your link there. I know the intro. You know the intro. What do you mean? You know the intro to this? let's check this out. You know what I'm gonna say. Yeah, it's quiet. Yo. Hey, sick. Pretty sick. It's really interesting to hear another track by you after been working on that one track for so long. You definitely have like a unique style, and I like to hear that coming through. So that's pretty sick. I love the breaks, the chop and screw style and everything. One of the things that we've been talking about, or one of the things I think I mentioned in the previous track, is that it feels like things in your tracks just kind of roll and roll and roll without a lot of breaks. Not like breaks like dun dun ch dun dun ch, but like, breaks and moments where things kind of change. And you did a really good thing right here. That little bit right there. I love that little turnaround. I want more of those kind of things, all right? Also, I mean, this is like a very crazy tune, but you should check out Very Noise by Igor. This is a crazy music video, crazy tune, absolutely insane. But like, it's like super crazy choppy breaks and stuff. And I feel like you can, if not like, you want to make music like that, then you can be inspired by it at least, because it's wild. I think you would like it either way. So, all right. Yes, the intro's quiet. I don't need to say anything about that. Overall, it feels like a very dark track. It feels like there is like brightness in the bass, like I can hear brightness, but overall it feels kind of like muted and dark and hollow too. So that is like, it needs a face, right? You see how yeah, I mean, I feel like all you gotta do is take some of these breaks and run them through beat repeat or something. You got it, easy enough. So yeah, do you see how like smiley face this is? It's very like, you got some lows, you got some highs, but not a lot in the middle. And if I look at Insight and I put this on, tonal balance. There we go. Let's just put this on, I don't know, I guess general EDM. Yeah, do you see that big dip in your mids? And also look at spectrum too. This should really be like a fairly straight line down here. So it's a little too bright, not enough in the middle. I think you just got to find something to be the main face of your track, right? Because right now it's a cool break with some cool basses. But like, what's going to make this track be the one that someone's like, oh, yo, that Atri track that goes like, blah, 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 you have to have something. You have to have like a lead or something that catches people. If you care about people listening, I suppose that's an if you care type situation. One second, let me check the timing here. Huh. Yeah, okay, cool. You do. I figure I say that. Not everyone cares about people listening to their music, seriously, and there's like not a problem with that at all. I used to pride myself on doing extremely experimental music that no one gave a shit about. So, those days are long gone. But yeah, I would say that, if you want people to listen to your music and remember it, you need a face. So, okay, yeah, I think the snare is early here or something. Like, just check this little section. It's kind of, something's weird there. I could just be tripping, but I don't know. Try the delay transition thing I was talking about. Smooth this delay out a bit. This build is effective, but it would be even more effective with drums. Like, just bring some kind of like build type drums in here. Just steal something from this, filter it in, All right. Same thing with the transition. Transition needs work. They just kind of happen. You see how it's just really abrupt right there? You could just have this like little break snare delay out. Right? Easy, simple. You could get more complicated if you want, but I'm usually just trying to write, and that's it. So, in general, watch the width on the bass top here. It just gets really wide overall, especially for a track where there's not many mids. It feels like a little overhyped in the tops there. And that can cause masking in the mix as well. So you got to watch out for that. Same thing. I talked about that earlier. Good turnaround. Yeah. Overall, this track, I already feel like this track is even better than the last one you were working on that we spent a lot of time on. Like, I already feel like this has more legs to it, It holds the interest a little more. The sound design is got some more going on with it. So I like this one a lot. So great work. The last one sucked. Well, the last one was the last one, and this one is this one. And I think that this one's definitely better for sure. I like it better anyway. But what do I know? So, anyway, dude. Okay, all right. Did I tell this story? I think I might have told this story last time. Kevin was here last time, and he had Kevin K-Fish. He was on our last stream. He had a session with Ahi, and apparently Ahi, listened to one of his tracks, and he's like, oh yeah. No, it's pretty good. A lot going on though. I don't know. I would maybe just move on. And I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's good. I mean, that's good advice. That's great advice. I think it's hilarious too. Maybe just move on. All right. Any other questions about this before I move on? Speaking of moving on. Dope. Nope. Dope. All right. Who's next? We got the one and only Rhymetry. Give Rametry a follow if you are not following already. Dude is dope. Can I download this? Sure can. Hey, are you going, Rametry, are you going to the Applecross Festival? We may have already talked about this, I forget. Alright, let's check it out. Ruins of Atlantis. Pretty sick. Better be some water vibes in here.
Legend tells of a sunken civilization, the remains of which contain great power. We'll now dive deeper than ever before and attempt to locate and explore these ruins.
Warning. Approaching sea floor.
Wait, what is that? It's emitting a strange light. Hear that? We've lost contact with the crew.
Dude. Yo, that was crazy. This is a really cool track. I don't have a lot of comments, honestly. It sounds great. It's very cool. I do think it ends a little suddenly. I felt like I was like, oh, okay. And you may have mentioned maybe here. What'd you say? I think you said, hoping this one is finished. I would say maybe it's finished. Maybe you might want to take a look at this ending here. It just feels like it just kind of stops or something. Like it's like, all right, intro, cool sounds, drop, and then just kind of ends. Something about it felt awkward to me. Like, how do I mix out of this? It's got a decent mix out. It's not bad. I guess it could be fine. Maybe it was just something about the way it was presented. I feel like you could wind it down just a little more, you know? That's all I'm saying. I feel like you get wound down just a little bit more. For a theme trot, it'd be cool to have some kind of a plot resolution. Hey, that's a very good idea. That's a very good idea. Yeah, honestly, you started it with this really cool, you know, this really cool vocal sample. Maybe something at the end here to kind of wrap up the storyline. Pretty short track in general. I don't think it would. I mean, it's fine. 2 minutes is fine, right? I don't think it'd be bad to maybe, you know, put a little tag on it or something that can kind of make it feel like it winds down a bit. But yeah, anyway, overall, really sick. My one recommendation here I have is to cut reverb tails to kind of readjust the a part 2 would be cool too. Yeah, I agree. A part 2 would be neat. Is to cut the reverb tails to kind of like fuck with space a little bit. It's one of those things we can do with music productions. We can kind of like turn the reverb off, and then all of a sudden your focus instantly goes to whatever else is playing. So let me just play this again from here. I think it was maybe like right in here or something. I mean, you do it here. That's cool. At least I think you do. Yeah, you do, for sure. It's like somewhere in here, I felt like maybe you could do it again. I don't know. Yeah, all of these in here, just like there's little moments where you can kind of shift the focus and make things not feel so blurred together. Not that it's an ineffective thing to do in this track. I think it works pretty well. But just try a little more of that. Try a little more like space shifting and framing. The thing with this kind of music is that usually you're doing a really good job of this overall, is you're like presenting an idea. You're like, look at this. All right, put it away. Now look at this. All right, put it away. Now look at this, you know? And just the way you frame that and lead up to it and lead away from it, it all wraps into how that happens. And I feel like there's a few moments here where things can be framed a bit more obviously. I'll try and find another spot too.
It's emitting a strange light.
Yeah, okay, even this right here. Wop, 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 boom, cut it, drums in there, right? Something like that would be so crazy. Like, you don't need to have the drums in.
It's emitting a strange light.
You know what I mean? Like, try taking the drums out of all of this and then bring them in here. Or something, right? Like, there's just really interesting things you can do that all of a sudden feel like you're, like, demanding attention once again. Gigantic sea monster and alarms would be wild. Yeah. Maybe you can cut the verb snare at a few. Totally. If you have a reverb snare going on constantly, I would say that, you know, pick and choose your spots for that. Definitely. Yeah, like this right here. Like this little thing. Get rid of that tonal thing in the background there, maybe, you know? These can be another moment where it's like all of a sudden everything bop 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 doom dun 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 dun, and it goes back into it, and then all of a sudden it goes, it sucks back in, right? Just moments where things are pulling out, sucking back in. I don't know. I mean, I know this is kind of at the tail end of what I was saying to do here, so maybe that wouldn't work, but you just gotta try it out. Maybe just pulling things out here or just here. You know, it's all about like really cool, interesting things you can do to like pull my attention back in. Yeah, here's another moment where some verb tails can be cut. So you get the idea. All right, you got some super cool basses going on here. These ones right here, so really nice, like probably saw wave type, you know, high resonant, low pass opening up right there. What I really like to do with that is I like to OTT these kind of things, do that thing with the filter and OTT again to bring out those upper harmonics. I find it makes it a exquisitely nice squelchy little sound. Give it a shot. You may like it, you may not. You probably got to tweak it. But like it might actually bring these out and in like in a really interesting way. So kind of cool. All right, so hats could be a little more. I just wanted to be able to like talk about this a bit. This is one of those things that I'm always very concerned. Yeah, the sonar thing takes a lot of attention away from moments. It's two things happening at once. Try and make it just one thing if you can, you know? I feel like EPROM's The Cat is a really good example of one thing holding attention. It's an insane track. Anyway, so I feel like in these, like, you know, 140, you know, wubby DDD style tracks, the hat patterns are like king, and yours could just be a little bit more prominent, more harmonically rich, more interesting, more in your face. I feel like they need to be more in your face than you think they do. Check out some of Saka's stuff for this, Saka. He's really good at that. And of course, you know, just check out anything on the Deep Dark Dangerous label. I'm sure you know. But there's a lot of tracks on there where the hats or shakers are way up front. And it's tough to do. It's really tough to do that. It's something I've been working on myself. Because I used to not pay attention to my hats at all, but now I do. So just something to check out. Yeah. Any other questions on this one before we move on? get rid of some of those. This was feedback on... Oh, the hats, was it? All right, cool. Well, there you go. I'm anything if not consistent. Wait, I'm nothing if not consistent? I don't know how that phrase is, but let's just say, yeah. All right, cool. So I got about 10 or 15 minutes left here. If I don't get to anyone here, I will get to you next week, and these are recorded. So if you can't make it next week, you can always go back and watch it on my Twitch or on my YouTube. All right? And let's see here. Oh, can you make this downloadable? Camel Hotline? From now on, if the hats feel slightly too loud, they're probably just right. I don't know. It's so tough. It's so tough. Like the vocals is funny. How it feels when the barista gets... Jamiroquai making color base. All right, let me try this again here. Yo, we got to hang out again sometime, man. It's been a while. I think it's been a year at this point, basically, since I saw you at that one thing we went to. This one is also not downloadable. What the heck? What the heck is happening? You know what I might do is I might just MP3, like SoundCloud to MP3 it. With your permission, I will SoundCloud to MP3 this track so we can use it. I mean, it might make it a little, you know, unless it's like a fully mastered track or anything, I'm sure it'll be okay. And then once you get that worked out, let me know. It's just so I can keep this thing moving and get to everyone that I can. But if you get it worked out, let me know, and I will replace it with a not MP3 file. All right, let's check it.
I take a sip espresso, it's me like it should. Who knows exactly how you make it so good? Please, I need a double shot of the best. Caffeinated love, baby, start it up. Day after day, keeping me wide awake, but it's fine cause I feel alright. And I know if I stay just a little too late, then I'm gonna be up all night. Serving it hot every morning, yeah. Got me feeling for more, buzzing for sure. Oh, you got me bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. I can't get enough of your lovely brew. Ain't it amazing how you make it so smooth? I'm addicted to the sweet aroma. Think I need another cup. Baby, baby, fill it up. Day after day, keeping me wide awake, but it's fine cause I feel alright. And I know if I stay just a little too late, then I'm gonna be up all night. Serving it hot every morning, yeah. Got me feeling for more, buzzing for sure. Oh, you got me bouncing off the walls like ooh. My heart is racing at the thought of you. Making coffee just for two. You make my body shake. Oh, you make me wanna. Na 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 na.
Was that the end of it, or did downloading it just fuck up? 1 second. Oh, no, that was the end of it on SoundCloud anyway. All right, sick. All right, cool. Dude, this is awesome. This is awesome. I love it. I wouldn't change a thing about the ending. No. Very, very cool. This is awesome. Funk vibes all over the place. It's sick. The vocals from the beginning feel a little out of the pocket to me.
I take a sip espresso. I take a sip espresso.
It's just, I think maybe it's when they enter.
I take a sip espresso. It's me like it should.
I don't know. Something about it is like, I feel like the phrase is off. Like, it feels like I'm feeling 1, 2, 3, 4, and your vocals are coming in like too early or something.
I take a sip espresso.
But then they do land right where I kind of feel like the sip is the emphasis, right? I take a sip espresso. Honestly, maybe like I take would be a better place to go. Da, 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 da. I take a sip espresso, right? Something like that. Because it feels like the emphasis is being placed on the wrong syllable a little bit. If you know what I mean. Feels a little strange. So, just something to play around with there. Because it felt off for all the intro. Also, vocals need more processing. I don't know if you've done any processing to them or not yet, but they do feel really dry. Also, you could definitely use some harmonies, particularly in this spot right here where I mentioned it. Like, you could do some sick harmonies here. Like, all you gotta do is get like 4 or 5 takes of various ooh, 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 you know what I mean? And like spread them out real wide. You'll get that like gospel choir type sound or something. So totally. All right. Got it. I just didn't know what stage you're at with this, but yeah, very, very cool. This right here.
Bouncing.
Wait, where was it?
Oh, buzzing for sure. Oh, you got me bouncing. Every morning, yeah. Got me feeling for more.
I lost it. Oh, all right. It must be these little things here. Those little guys. All right. Now, I said thicken these bad boys up before I realized that I don't think you actually have a sub in this whole track. Or if you do, it's definitely not prominent enough. I can hear, the kick's there for sure, but you should definitely get some low end going on in here. We need some sub 100 hertz. You turned it down. Oh no, no way. Turn it back up. Turn that bad boy up again. We need the lows filled out for sure. Yeah. Your snare, I just feel like it's cool sometimes, but then after a while, it's just very psh, psh, you know? Doesn't really feel like, I feel like you need a very acoustic sounding kit for this, you know? You need like a little Gretsch kit or something, some little jazz, tight little jazz kits thing, to really make this feel tight, you know? And I think the snare is just not quite the right snare, at least not to use as the main snare. I do like the splash it has to it. It just feels like as the prominent thing gets a little over the top, you know? So, yeah, this is awesome, though. I definitely would love to hear further versions of this with a little more vocal processing and some harmonies, and some sub, and some low end, too, because this is such a sick track. Like, it's excellent. It's excellent. Any questions for me? Anything I didn't make a comment on that you want me to specifically talk about? I love it. Because I love it. Any advice for transitions? The transitions didn't bother me so much here.
Oh, you got me bouncing off the walls like ooh.
You know, I feel like when you do get those harmonies in there,
Got me bouncing off the walls like ooh.
you know, you can have the harmonies come in towards the end, and then the harmonies are themselves the connecting tissue. You know, like get the harmonies on the right note or whatever, and allow them to bleed through, and that would be a really like lovely little connective tissue right there.
Oh, you got me bouncing off the walls like ooh.
I mean, don't be afraid to put in some sweeps in this thing too. I know it's like more of a like, you know, acoustic-y kind of style like funk tune, but like you can definitely get some like you know what I mean? Or like some really interesting little like piano runs. They're going like, you know what I mean? Like just some like melodic fills and melodic things that are running up and down, or chimes. Honestly, like get yourself some like, you know, those like bar chimes. You can go like like that. Like that would be kind of sick, actually. You can think really outside the box here for transitions. You know, I mean, obviously, like, check out Thundercat and stuff, right? Like, so just check out Thundercat. Obviously, the Jamiroquai influence and all that kind of stuff, yeah. But yeah, like, I feel like just get Thundercat to play the bass part. Yeah, no big deal. Let me just call him up real quick. There we go.
But it's fine, 'cause I feel alright.
I don't think the transitions need to be overthought here. I think they're doing pretty good, you know? So, yeah, man. Good work on this. This is cool. Made me smile. Okay, hey, to everyone else I did not get to today, that would be Haptic, Head Under Heels, Lil X, and Worms. Y'all are first in that order. Yeah, no problem. Happy to help. Y'all are first in that order next week. Next week, I will make sure that I've already blocked my schedules off, so I do not have anyone, that is scheduling lessons during this time. So next time we'll be able to go for as long as we need to get to everyone's tracks. So sorry I couldn't get to them this week. Thanks for your patience. Just come on back next week. Like I said, these are all recorded. Anyone that is in the chat that is not in the Discord yet, go ahead and join it using this link. And I can definitely review your tracks for future weeks as well. And yeah, looking forward to it next week. But I gotta go teach some people now. So you all take it easy, and I will see you in a week. Peace.